Last time on Milah's political crash course, after yet another failed attempt from the chairman of the Pennsylvania RNC to bring down Milah's show, he said to call in the big guns. Let's find out what that means.
Alright, Markbot, are you ready to do this episode?
I think so. I mean, this script doesn't make too much sense.
Hey, it was the best I could do. Besides, this will be the first episode that's not going to be interrupted by anything. This is just going to be a normal episode where we get to the root of a political issue. Just let me know when you're ready.
Oh, wait, do I start?
Yes. Oh my god, did you even read it?
I mean, I glanced at it.
Jesus, Mark. Okay, just start.
Hey, Milah, I'm a robot. What if my circuits were gerrymandered?
That would be crazy, because then only certain parts of your body would get powered. Hey, speaking of gerrymandering, isn't the way voting works pretty crazy?
I don't know for sure, but I'm inclined to agree with you. Please, expound on this issue.
With pleasure. You see... Oh my god, could you guys act any worse?
Hey, we're trying our best here.
Yeah, I don't exactly see your acting chops either. I don't need to be good at acting. I'm only here to do the actual important part. You know, the informing.
And nobody watches these videos to learn. They just want to see wacky antics with the leftist narrative.
Could you have described this show to make it sound any more boring?
Probably not.
Well, I think the people at home have gotten a bit too comfortable. You've all been sitting on your asses watching Saturday morning cartoons on a Thursday evening, thinking you could just zone out when the pictures come on screen. Well, guess what, fucko? This is the expository episode. Strap in your seatbelts because it's time to learn. Oh shit, it's time for the intro I'll use for every episode of this show. Ever wonder what's going on in politics? I mean, you're vaguely left-leaning, but you don't really pay attention to what's going on. You just kind of vote left because that's your climate and your weirdly political friend is telling you to. Well, I'm that friend now, for all of you. Whether you're looking for an explanation for something, or maybe you're just looking for someone to hard agree with, then I'm your gal. And yes, I'm a girl. The liberal brain rot runs deep. Let's get into this shit. Love watch or hate watch, you're in for a ride. Benjamin Harrison, George W. Bush, Donald J. Trump. What do these three have in common? All Republicans, all bad presidents, and most importantly to our lesson, they all stole their elections! Well, except George W. Bush. I may be a contemptuous Democrat, but I'll hand 04 to him fair and square. Although this is a crazy look for a 3 million vote difference. But 2000 was completely fraud! Now, the word fraud has come up a lot when it comes to elections as of recently, and while a certain indictment may say challenging elections is legal, I'm not sure how YouTube feels. Dear YouTube, I am not contesting this 135-year-old election. Cleveland already got his 2 terms. What I am doing is pointing out systemic flaws to represent the unheard voice of the people. So what's wrong with these elections? The person with the most votes did not win. Let's take a look at the margins. 100,456, a 0.01% margin. 543,835, a 0.005% margin. 2,868,686, a 0.02% margin. Sure, these are all small numbers, but we're talking about the integrity of American democracy. Now sure, there are 2 other elections. The person with the most votes did not win, 1824 and 1876, John Quincy Adams and Rutherford B. Hayes, but those had a little bit of behind closed doors agreement, so I won't blame the college. Or maybe I will blame the college since their shortcomings allowed for this.
So wait, what is the Electoral College? I'm a little confused.
Stop here! Let's talk about the origins of the Electoral College. The Electoral College, like most institutions, had noble beginnings and even tried to do some good to start. On the surface, all it does is simplify the voting process by giving whoever wins a smaller number to count towards a larger goal. This sounds like a system so simple that it couldn't really muddy anything, but simplicity can be deceiving. When we talk about the origin of the Electoral College, I will commend it for one thing. It's at least better than their original idea of Congress electing the president. Can you imagine? We went almost a month without a Speaker of the House. I can't even fathom how long we'd be without a fearless leader. But why didn't they go straight to popular voting? Because of the evilest thing America participated in: slavery. The South was worried that they might lose their right to enslave people if the populous North had its way. A similar issue was brewing for them in the House of Representatives. In order to avoid a civil war, the North came to a compromise, a 3/5 compromise. This would ensure that the South got more of a vote with less of a liberation bias, by giving the votes that the slaves deserved to the people that owned them. A bias against liberation. A bias against Of course, I can admit I'm being unfair by pulling the slavery was bad card. There were other reasons to have an electoral college. Back in the day when there were multiple candidates running, and nobody was stepping on each other's toes, it makes things a lot easier to sort out. But almost immediately after they wrote the Constitution, people started consolidating into political parties. Nice going. And rendered that moot. Alright, there's our origin. What was I about to say? Splitting states effectively? We often think of states as either red or blue, but a better example would be that they're all varying levels of purple. Let's take Florida, for example. The media touts this place as some sort of Republican stronghold, but Biden only lost by 500,000 votes. Now, 500,000 is still a lot, but if we were to split the electoral votes by how the voters voted, the 29 electoral votes to Donald Trump would look a lot more like 17. And this goes both ways, too. When we do the same thing to California, Joe Biden's 55 looks a lot more like 34.
Okay, I get that the Electoral College can be a bit of a pushover, but it's not really that bad, is it?
Not really in most cases, hence why they usually coincide with the actuals. But let's play God for a bit using a website I like to call 270towin.com. 270towin is basically like that freaky game that lets your characters do anything. Link in bio to play. But for election nerds. You can make your own electoral maps and change history. It's great, but I'm sure you're not as interested as I am. So let's use it for its demonstrative purposes. Let's say that you were to win the election purely by electoral college, and I'm talking barely scraping by. 51% margins in the states you win and 0% in the ones you've lost. So here's a mock-up of what that would look like. In this simulation of 2020, Biden has won the election using only 11 states. These states are New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, California, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. Now, I've tossed these into a spreadsheet to calculate 51% of these states, 100% of the other states, and add them all together and show us the deficit. Now, keep in mind that the smaller number here is the winner, and that this was a cursory selection of states. I bet the deficit could be made wider. But for all intents and purposes, this could very well be a winning ticket. 44 million to 113 million. In this scenario, Biden wins with 28% of the votes. Now, anyone who could defend a system that would leave 72% of people's votes essentially discarded is uninformed or has some secret knowledge that I don't.
I feel like as a robot, I'm obligated to state that the odds of this exact math ever happening are so astronomically low that you're practically hyping yourselves up for something that will never happen.
Okay, I know this map is a little bit of an exaggeration, but I needed to prove my point. I think the very fact that this is possible should be indicative of the flawed system.
Okay, but do you have anything more tangible? Maybe something that affects every election?
Well, boy, do I have something for you, and it all ties back to our last episode about the population. That's right, we're keeping continuity. Here's some more math for you, something that a bunch of people with dead teeth didn't know much about. Let's look at our most and least populated states. In Wyoming, 193,000 people voted for Trump, an over 40% lead, netting him 3 electoral votes. This means that each electoral vote cost about 65,000 votes. Conversely, over in California, 11 million votes racked up to 55, which sounds like a lot, but when you do the math, it makes each vote in California worth 200,000, making Wyoming, the red state, worth more than the biggest state. Is that all to say that the Electoral College is biased towards Republicans? Yes! At least in this current iteration. Okay, so now you got me more curious than anything. How do they decide how many electoral votes a state gets, and who gets to be an elector? Way to ask the real questions, Mark. I'd be delighted to tell you that. What a narratively convenient question. Let's tackle the easier one. Okay, aside from the aside for a second, I legitimately did not know this part, and that's on me. My research was lacking a lot more luster than I had anticipated. I was mostly going off of research I made for an infographic 2 years ago. So, yeah, that's on me. The electoral votes a state has is actually decided by its representatives. Every state is guaranteed at least 3, one for each senator and their 1 rep, and the redistricting process happens once every 10 years. The average congressional district holds roughly 700,000 people, average being the operating word. So now we know how many electors each state gets. Who gets to be in the college? Well, you actually picked them! Did you know that instead of voting for the president, you're actually voting for the Electoral College? At the general election, each party puts up their own slate of electors, and that's who you're actually voting for. Whoever side receives the most votes gets their electors to cast their ballots. That's right, there are only 538 people in America who actually vote for the president. So why do people support the Electoral College? The same reason they don't support immigration. Without their inane structures, every president would be a Democrat for the next 1,000 years. Full deep state, no Q, no guns, only children's drag shows and mandatory sensitivity training. So, in the state of fairness, I believe that the Electoral College is not only unnecessary, it's also imbalanced. Sure, I support the idea of simplifying the voting process so it looks nice on TV, because I mean, let's be honest, the only reason it still exists is for those primetime ratings, baby. Call me crazy, but I think democracy is a bit more important than quality news TV. Alright, informative part's over. If you're not interested in the cartoon, then turn back now. I can get behind fixing my factual inaccuracies/shortcomings, but I'll be damned if I let the comments touch my baby!
Wow, I think we got it. We exposited all the info and even ended on a clincher.
Yeah, great job, team. I guess it's time to start work on the next script. I'm thinking I'll do an episode on crazy things the CIA has done.
Oh, you mean like the one time they...
Just like that. Alright, guys, I'll see you... can I help you?
Check this out.
Would you look at that? I'm evil.
I did it!
Ugh. No, you're not, Mark. Take a hit of this USB.
I guess you're right. I'm not evil.
But it took you so long the last time.
Yeah, it took me a long time to write the code, but I didn't, delete it or anything. A word to the wise, you might want to move on from trying to use tech on me. Or maybe just move on as a whole.
Nonsense. I need to make an example out of you.
Excuse me, Mr. Smith-Joe Jackson, if I may. It seems to me like the example you're making out of us is that an entire state party can be leveled by one kid with a YouTube channel.
I just remembered. You don't even know who I am.
Yeah, we do. You're the guy who runs the RNC.
Yes, but as your robot so ignorantly pointed out, you're still under the assumption that my hastily assembled alias was my legitimate Christian name. You don't know who I really am.
Are we supposed to?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of just some guy who interrupts our videos.
My name is Thaddeus Harvey Oswald. I am the secret third offspring of my father, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Whoa, cool. Can you tell us, what actually happened? Did he really work alone? Did JFK's head just kind of do that?
No.
Okay. Well, then, what does it really matter whose kid you are? It's not like you've got any interesting stories.
Honestly, it's kind of more embarrassing because the assassination of JFK all but confirmed the passing of the Civil Rights Act.
Hey, are you friends with James Earl Jones, kid?
It's James Earl Ray, and no.
Still dumb.
I hope you two are very distraught because I'm getting a call. I'll leave it up to you to torture yourselves.
Shouldn't be too hard. Too much of this guy's voice will make me want to shut down.
At least I can have kids, you side switching. Oh no.
How's that working out for you, Mr. Ransomware?
Oh.
Hey, how'd you get that done anyway? I wasn't able to crack the curse. Not like I'd really want to. Evens the playing field a bit.
Honestly, I just stole some casing from Radio Shack. I think it comes standard with the model.
That makes sense. How about the girl voice, though? Where'd you get that?
I have to go.
What a fun guy. Let's figure out how to make him stop appearing on the TV.
Does that mean we'll get to take apart the TV? Yippee!
Get me on the phone with Steamsworth now.
Jeez, Teddy, you always talk to help like that?
Oh, Mr. Steamsworth. I'm sorry. I thought you were on hold.
Mr. Steamsworth, come on, what's with the formality? You know I ain't exactly here on official business.
Oh, well thank you for calling back on such short notice.
Hey, it's no problem. I'm starting to get bored of this Hunter Biden stuff. You'd be surprised how many pictures this guy takes of his cork. It's large.
Well, I'm sure this will be a welcome departure. I need you to take care of these two people.
Take care how? You know, I haven't killed a man since I served time in Iraq.
No, nothing like that. I just need you to prosecute them. Indict them on something. Doesn't really matter what.
Sounds like fun. Who's the target? some assistant, a city councilor, a mayor.
I need you to get this cartoonist and her fucking pet robot out of my head.
That's it? They're not like some senator's kids, are they?
No, but she's been pestering me nonstop ever since I tried to circuit wash her robot.
Daddy, darling, these are interim days. I'm a professional now. I do real cases now. I can't just be off doing silly adventures. I'm above that.
I'll give you whatever you want. $50,000 if you get them both. 25 just for showing up.
Wow. Daddy, I was just joking about the dignity thing. I probably would have taken the case for old time's sake, but I'd never been known to pass up a bribe.
I don't believe in free labor anyways.
Oh yeah? I forgot you actually believe the stuff your party stands for. I'd called you one of the good ones, but hey, look at me taking a 50 grand bribe from ya.
It may not seem like it right now, but this is for the future of the party.
Whatever you say, pal. Personally, I think the money is reward enough.
I don't doubt that.
Alrighty, I'll go out for an investigation in a couple weeks. I think you'll be quite pleased with what I find.
We'll speak then.
$25,000 just for showing up?
It was a panic throw.
We very much do not have 50 grand to spare.
It'll be worth it in the end. Now shut up!
You're making a big mistake.
I'm the chairman of the PAGOP. I'm doing what's right for our country. Now please leave me alone. Stupid Milah, stupid Markbot, stupid receptionist. They'll see. They'll all see.
Hey look, it's the speaker for the TV.
Look at me, I'm a person. My voice is in CD quality. Oh god, is this what I sound like? Take it off! Take it off!